Hello, welcome back to 5th grade Green Math. I'm Linwood Fields, your Green instructor. In lecture 11, we're going to do some long division examples. The objectives are to know how to perform long division with whole numbers, and again, know that division is fundamentally a grouping problem. Here's the long division notation that you should be familiar with at this point. The divisor is at this position. The dividend is to the right of the divisor, and the quotient is above the dividend, and the remainder is to the right. Again, division is a grouping problem. In case 1, the divisor is how many items we want in each group. This is known, and the quotient, which is part of the answer, is the number of groups. The dividend is always the total number of items. And in case 2, the divisor is the number of groups that we are given, and the quotient this time is how many items are going to be in each group. We have to find the quotient in both cases. Again, the quotient is the answer to either case. Let's work an example. Use long division to divide 107 by 2. That is 107 divided by 2. Remember, this is the division symbol. 2 is the divisor, and 107 is the dividend. The problem can be stated as how many 2-item groups can we make from 107 items? That's case 1. We can also state the problem as how many items will be in each group if we divide 107 total items into 2 equal-sized groups. That's case 2. Okay, when only given a dividend and a divisor, there is no way to know which case the problem belongs to, and this is perfectly fine. Using long division notation, we put the 2 where the divisor goes, and we put the 107 where the dividend goes. Okay, at this point, we ask ourselves, will 2 go into 1? No. 2 is greater than 1. So we go over 1. So we consider the 1 and the 0 together, which is 10. Will 2 go into 10? Yes. So I ask myself, 2 times what is 10? Well, 2 times 5 is 10. So we put the 5 above the rightmost digit that we are considering in the dividend. We're considering the 1 and the 0 together, and the 0 is to the right of the 1, so we put the 5 above the 0. Multiply the 5 times the 2. And so 5 times 2 is 10, and we put the 10 up under the dividend. We put it right here. So notice we don't put the 1 here and the 0 here because we are not considering the 7. The 0 in the product, the rightmost digit of the product, which is 10, the rightmost digit in 10 is 0. It has to go up under this column here. Add a 0 to the product we wrote down here. So we wrote down a 10, which was the product. So we're going to add a 0 so that this number here has 3 digits, just like the dividend. The dividend has 3 digits, so we want this number to have 3 digits. Then subtract. 7 minus 0 is 7. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. Of course, we don't like to put leading zeros before a number. Okay, now at this point, will 2 go into 7? We're looking at this 7 right here. Yes. So I asked myself, what number can I multiply 2 by to get as close as possible to 7 without going over 7? Well, 2 times 3 will give me 6. So 2 will go into 7 3 times without going over. Write the 3 above the 7 in the dividend. So we put the 3 above this 7 here. Then we multiply 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 will give me 6. And we put the 6 up under the 7 we wrote down in the last step. 3 times 2 is 6. The 6 goes under the 7. Subtract the product, which is 6, from 7. 7 minus 6 is equal to 1. We're finished because after this subtraction here, that resulted in a value of 1, which is less than the divisor. So the fact that 1 is less than 2 and the fact that we have a digit above the rightmost digit in the dividend, 7 is the rightmost digit in the dividend. We have a 3 above the 7, and plus the 1 is less than 2, so we're finished. So the quotient is 53, and the remainder is 1. Teachers and parents, please make sure that your students get in the habit of checking their work. Please. It has to be done so that they can catch their mistakes and get more answers on their test. Multiplication is used to verify that we performed the division correctly. Multiplying the quotient by the divisor and then adding the remainder should result in a value exactly equal to the dividend. Okay, in the last problem, well, in this problem, example 1, so we had in the quotient we had 53, and then the divisor we had 2. 53 times 2 is 106, and then to that we add the remainder. 106 plus 1 is 107. Let us look again at our restatement of the problem. How many 2-item groups can we make from 107 items? So if we put 2 items in each group, then we will have 53 2-item groups. And 1 item will not be in a group. It'll be left over. That's the remainder. And the other way to look at the problem is how many items will be in each group if we divide the total number of 107 items into 2 equal-sized groups. There will be 53 items in each group. And again, 1 item will not be in a group. It'll be left over. It will be the remainder. Example 2, let's divide 53 by 5. 5 is the divisor and 53 is the dividend. The problem can be stated as how many 5-item groups can we make from 53 items? That's case 1. We can also state the problem as how many items will be in each group if we divide 53 total items into 5 equal-sized groups. That's case 2. Again, when only given a dividend and a divisor, there is no way to know which case the problem belongs to. And again, this is perfectly fine. Using long division notation, we put the 5 where the divisor goes, and we put the 53 where the dividend goes. Step 1, will 5 go into 5? So will 5 go into the first digit, 5? Yes, 5 goes into 5 exactly 1 time because 5 times 1 is 5. So we put the 1 above the 5. Multiply 1 times 5 and write the product under the dividend. 1 times 5 is 5, and because we're considering this column right here, we put the 5 so that it aligns up with this 1 and 5 here. So here we're saying that write the product, which is 5, so that the rightmost digit in the product. Now this product 5 actually only has 1 digit. So the rightmost digit in the product has to align with the 1 in the quotient because, again, we're considering this column here. Add zeros to the product we wrote down in step 2 so that this number here has the same number of digits as the dividend. The dividend has 2 digits, so we want 2 digits right here. So we add this 0. Then subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. 5 minus 5 is 0. Okay, so now considering this 3 here, will 5 go into this 3? No, 5 will not go into 3. Or we say that 5 goes into 3 0 times. Now, let me back up here. Now, you might be wondering, why are we not through after step 3? Because after this subtraction here, we had a number 3, which is less than 5. The problem is, yes, that's true, but look above the 3 in the dividend. We do not have a number in the quotient above the 3 in the dividend. We have to satisfy 2 components before we're finished. This subtraction has to result in a number less than the divisor, and plus we have to have a number in the rightmost digit of the dividend. 3 is the rightmost digit in the dividend, but we don't have a number up here, so we're not finished. Okay, so back to step 4. Okay, so 5 will go into 3 0 times. So write the 0 above the 3 in the dividend. So put the 0 here. Now, step 5 from the previous slide is repeated. Okay, multiply 0 times 5 and write the product under the 3. So 0 times 5 is 0. Anything times 0 is 0. And we write the 0 under the 3. So we are finished now because the subtraction resulted in a number less than the divisor. 3 is less than 5. And we have a digit above the rightmost digit in the dividend. 3 is the rightmost digit in the dividend. 0 is above the 3, so we're finished. So the quotient is 10 and the remainder is 3. Check your work. Your 5th grade math, okay, in the previous example, to check your work, you multiply the divisor times the quotient and you add the remainder, and that should equal to the dividend. Okay, in example 3, your 5th grade math teacher, Mr. Jellybean, makes a lot of money. He makes $42,350 a year teaching you 5th grade math. How much money does Mr. Jellybean make each month? Okay, so here you have to realize that there are 12 months in 1 year. So in this problem, 12 is going to be the divisor, and 42,350 is going to be the dividend. Okay, using long division notation, 12 goes where the divisor place is. 42,350 goes where the dividend is placed. Step 1, will 12 go into 4? No. So we move over 1 digit to the right in the dividend. Consider 4 and 2 together. Will 12 go into 42? Yes, 12 will go into 42. How many times? Well, let's see here. If I multiply 12 times 4, that's 48. That's too much. Well, let's see. Let's go down 1. 12 times 3. 12 times 3 is 36. Okay. 36 is as close as 42 as we can get without going over. So 12 would go into 42 3 times. So as usual, we place the how many times answer up here. How many times? The answer was 3. We place that answer above the rightmost digit in the digits of the dividend being considered. Here, the 42 in the dividend is being considered. 2 is the rightmost digit of these 2 digits. So we put the 3 above the 2. That's what we've been doing in the past. Step 2, multiply 3 and 12 and write the product under the dividend. 3 times 12 is 36. So we write the product so that the rightmost digit in the product, 6 is the rightmost digit in 36. So that 6 has to align with the 3 in the quotient, because this is the column that we're dealing with. Okay, add zeros to the product we wrote down in step 2. So we're going to add 1, 2, 3 zeros so that this number has the same number of digits as the dividend. Then subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. 3 minus 0 is 3. Here, 2 is less than 6, so we have to borrow one from this column here. If we borrow 1 from this column, this 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. This 4 becomes a 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now, considering this number after the subtraction, will 12 go into 6? No. So we move over 1 digit. Will 12 go into 63? Yes. How many times? Well, 12 times 5 is 60, so 12 will go into 63 5 times without being over. So we write the 5 above the 3 in the dividend because we're considering these 2 digits here, 63. 12 goes into 63, and 3 is the rightmost digit in 63. So we put the 5 in this column right here. Okay, now multiply 5 times 12. 5 times 12 is 60. And we put the 12, and we put the product under the 6350. And make sure that the rightmost digit of the product, 60, the rightmost digit of 60 is 0. We make sure that the 0 aligns with the 5 in the quotient because we're dealing with this column here. Add zeros so that we have the same number of digits that we have in 6350. In 6350, we have 4 digits, so we have to add 2 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. Then subtract. So because I ran out of space over here, so we're going to continue working right here. Okay, 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 6 minus 6 is 0. Now, looking at this 350, will 12 go into 3? No. Let's move over 1 digit and consider 35. Will 12 go into 35? Yes. How many times? 12 will go into 35 2 times. Okay, because we're considering 35 and 5 is the rightmost digit in 35, we write the 2 in this column right here. It goes in this column here because we're considering 35 and 5 is the rightmost digit in 35. So we go all the way, we start here and go all the way up, make sure the 2 aligns with this 5. Multiply 2 times 12. 2 times 12 is 24. Write the product under the 350. Again, we add a 0 to the 24 so that this number has the same number of digits as the 350. Now subtract 240 from 350. 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 4 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. So 350 subtract 240 gives me 110. Now looking at the 110, will 12 go into 1? No, because 1 is less than 12. If we move over 1 digit and consider 11, will 12 go into 11? No, because 11 is less than 12. So we move over 1 more digit and consider 110. Will 12 go into 110? Yes. How many times? 9. 12 goes into 110 9 times. So place the 9 above the 0 in the dividend because 0 is the rightmost digit in the number we're considering. We're considering how many times 12 goes into 110, and 0 is the rightmost digit. So we put the 9 above the 0, above this 0. So it goes right here. Multiply 9 times 12. 9 times 12 is 108. And write the product up under 110. Subtract 108 from 110. see, 0 is less than 8, so I have to borrow 1 from this column. Borrowing 1 from this column, and I add it, and I put it together with this 0, and that makes a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. Well, I borrowed 1 from this column, so that 1 becomes 1 minus 1, which is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So 110 minus 108 is 2. We are finished because this subtraction here resulted in 2, which is less than the divisor. The divisor is 12. 2 is less than 12. And we have a digit, the 9, above the rightmost digit in the dividend. The rightmost digit in the dividend is 0. We have a 9 above the 0. So that, combined with the fact that this subtraction resulted in a number less than the divisor, means that we're finished. So the quotient is 3,529, and there is a remainder of 2. Don't forget to check your work. 3,529 times 12 is 42,348. Add the remainder to this. 42,348 plus 2 is equal to 42,350, which is the dividend. So, to the nearest dollar, Mr. Jellybean makes, wow, $3,529 a month. In summary, fundamentally, division is a grouping problem. Here are some practice problems. More practice problems. Here are some here are some money practice problems. So that does it for this lecture. Thanks for your attention. I hope to see you at the next lecture. Have a great day.